The red lights flashed across the command center of the Federation flagship Harmony's End. Admiral Taemin stood before the massive view screen, watching another Federation world burn. The Vorthon Empire had struck again. This time, they destroyed the mining colonies of Kepler 442b in less than 6 hours. "Sir, we just lost contact with the 7th Fleet," reported Commander Yulgi from his station. His voice shook as he spoke. "That makes it 15 fleets destroyed this month." Taemin closed his eyes. 15 fleets. Each fleet had 10,000 ships. Each ship had 500 crew members. The numbers made his head hurt. The Vorthon Empire was winning this war, and everyone knew it. The Vorthons were not like other aliens. They were tall, with 4 arms and thick gray skin that could stop most weapons. They had sharp teeth and black eyes that showed no mercy. Worst of all, they bred fast. For every Vorthon killed, 3 more took its place. "Admiral," called Science Officer Lee Minne, "we are getting a strange signal from the outer rim. It is not Vorthon." Taemin turned around. "What kind of signal?" "It appears to be a first contact message. The beings call themselves humans. They say they come from a planet called Earth." The other officers looked at each other. A new species? Now? When the Federation was losing the war? "Put it on screen," Taemin ordered. The view screen changed. A creature appeared that looked almost like the Altarians, but smaller. It had no fur, no scales, no natural armor. Just pale skin and small teeth. It looked very weak. "Greetings," the creature said. "I am Captain Lee Hyunwoo of the Earthship Soul's Pride. We have been watching your war with the Vorthon Empire. We wish to help." Admiral Taemin stared at the small creature. "You want to help us fight the Vorthons? Look at you. You have no claws, no armor, no poison. How can you fight anything?" Captain Hyunwoo smiled. It was a strange expression that showed his small, flat teeth. "Admiral, we may look weak, but looks can be wrong. We have been fighting wars on our planet for millions of years. We know how to win." "What weapons do you have?" asked Commander Yulgi. "We have ships and guns like you, but we also have something else. Something the Vorthons have never seen before." The screen showed images of Earth. It was a blue and green world with white clouds. It looked peaceful and beautiful. "Your planet looks nice," said Science Officer Minne. "Very calm." Captain Hyunwoo laughed. "Calm? Officer, my planet is anything but calm. On Earth, everything tries to kill everything else. We call it a death world." The Federation officers looked confused. The planet in the images looked so safe. "Do not understand," said Admiral Taemin. "It looks like a garden world. Let me show you something," Captain Hyunwoo said. The screen changed to show a large cat with orange and black stripes. It was beautiful, but then it moved. In one jump, it caught and killed an animal twice its size. "This is a tiger," Hyunwoo explained. "It hunts alone and can kill animals much bigger than itself." The screen changed again. This time it showed a pack of gray animals with sharp teeth. "These are wolves. They hunt in groups. They plan their attacks and work together to bring down large prey." More images followed. A long, thin animal with poison fangs. Tiny insects that could eat a large animal in hours. Fish with sharp teeth that attacked in groups. "Every animal on our world is either a hunter or hunted," Captain Hyunwoo continued. "And humans? We are the ones who survived all of them. We are the ones who learned to hunt everything else." Admiral Taemin felt a chill run down his back. "You are saying your entire planet is full of predators?" "Yes, and we are the top predator. We did not just survive on Earth. We took control of it. We tamed the hunters and made them work for us." Commander Yulgi stepped forward. "Even if this is true, the Vorthons have ships and plasma weapons. Your animals cannot fight in space." Captain Hyunwoo's smile grew wider. "Cannot fight in space? Commander, we bring our weapons with us wherever we go. And our weapons are not just guns and ships. Our weapons have been tested by millions of years of war on the deadliest planet, in known space." The communication ended, and the Federation officers stood in silence, Sir, said Science Officer Minne, should we accept their help? They do not look very strong. Admiral Taemin thought about the burning worlds, about the lost fleets, about the families crying for their dead. The Federation was desperate. They needed any help they could get. Send a message to the Council, he ordered. Tell them about these humans. Tell them we need to meet with them. 3 days later, Captain Lee Hyun-woo arrived at Federation Central Command. With him came Dr. Park Ji-eun, a small human female who carried a strange device. The council chamber was huge. Representatives from 12 different species sat in a circle. The hexapods clicked their mandibles nervously. The Altarians fluffed, their fur in worry. The crystalline beings hummed low, sad notes. The situation is bad, announced Council Leader Vex Prime. We have lost 60% of our territory. Our fleets are destroyed. Our worlds burn. If we do not find a new strategy, soon the Federation will fall. Captain Hyun-woo stood up. Even standing, he was shorter than most of the sitting aliens. Honored council members, he began, humanity wishes to join your fight against the Vorthons, but we will not fight the way you have been fighting. How? Will you fight? Asked General Caxtar of the Hexapod Alliance. Your species looks very small and weak. Dr. Park Ji-eun stepped forward. We do not look strong because we do not need to look strong. On Earth, the strongest-looking animals are usually not the most dangerous ones. She activated her device. A hologram appeared showing a tiny spider. This creature weighs less than 1 gram. But its poison can kill an animal 10,000 times its size. The hologram changed to show a small, colorful frog. This frog is beautiful and small, but touching it means death. More holograms followed. Each one showed a creature that looked harmless but was actually deadly. You see, Dr. Jian explained, on Earth we learned that size does not matter. Speed does not matter. What matters is being smart, being patient, and knowing your enemy's weaknesses. This is interesting, said Counselor Thuval. But how will this help us fight Vorthons? Captain Hyun-woo smiled that strange human smile again. We propose to bring our weapons to this war. All of them. Your ships? Asked Admiral Taemin. Our ships, yes, but also our other weapons, the ones that have been fighting and winning on Earth for millions of years. The council members looked at each other in confusion. Dr. Ji-eun continued, we want to bring Earth's predators to fight the Vorthons, not as pets or food animals, but as living weapons. Living weapons? General Caxtar clicked his mandibles, in disbelief. You want to fight a space war with animals? Not just any animals, Captain Hyun-woo said. The most successful hunters in the galaxy. Creatures that have survived on a world where death waits around every corner. Council Leader Vex Prime spoke slowly. This is unusual. We have never heard of using animals as weapons in space combat. That is exactly why it will work, Dr. Ji-eun replied. The Vorthons have never seen anything like Earth's predators. They will not know how to fight them. The council debated for hours. Some members thought the humans were crazy. Others thought they were desperate enough to try anything. Finally, Admiral Taemin stood up. I have seen our fleets burn. I have watched our worlds die. If these humans think their animals can help, I say we let them try. Council Leader Vex Prime looked around the chamber. Slowly, one by one, the representatives nodded their agreement. Very well, Vex Prime announced. Humanity is welcome to join the Federation. We will give you 1 star system to defend. Show us what your Earth weapons can do. Captain Hyun-woo bowed. Thank you. We will not let you down. But be prepared, honored council members. When we unleash Earth's predators on the Vorthons, this war will change forever. As the humans left the chamber, Dr. Ji-eun whispered to Captain Hyun-woo, do you think they understand what they just agreed to? Hyun-woo shook his head. No, they think we are bringing some smart animals to help in battles. They have no idea that we are about to show the galaxy what real predation looks like. Outside the station, the human fleet waited. Ships full of creatures that had never seen space before. Hunters from a world where only the strongest, smartest, and most deadly survived. The war was about to change. The Vorthans had never faced anything from Earth before. They were about to learn why that was a very big mistake. 3 weeks after the Federation Council meeting, Colonel Kim Dong-ho stood in the loading bay of the massive Earthship Death Valley. The bay was huge, bigger than most Federation cruisers, but instead of weapons or soldiers, it was filled with thousands of special containers. "Status report, Sergeant," Colonel Dong-ho called out. Marine Sergeant Choi Min-ho walked over with his datapad. "Sir, we have loaded 40,000 Predator units across 12 ships. The biocontainment systems are working perfectly." Colonel Dong-ho nodded. Each container held Earth's most dangerous hunters. Some containers were small, holding tiny creatures that could kill with a single bite. Others were large, housing predators that could hunt in packs. "What about the environmental systems?" the colonel asked. Lieutenant Yoon Sora, the mission's chief biologist, approached them. "All life support systems are ready, sir. We can create Earth-like conditions in any environment. Temperature, air pressure, humidity, everything our weapons need to survive and hunt." The colonel looked through the glass of a nearby container. Inside, a large gray wolf paced back and forth. Its yellow eyes watched everything around it. Even in the container, it looked ready to hunt. "Beautiful animal," said a voice behind them. They turned to see General Caxtar of the Hexapod Alliance. The large insect-like alien had come to inspect the human ships. His 4 arms moved nervously as he looked at the containers. "General," Colonel Dong-ho said with respect, "welcome aboard the Death Valley." "Thank you, Colonel. I wanted to see these weapons you humans are so proud of." General Caxtar walked closer to the wolf container. "This creature does not look very dangerous. It is smaller than our hexapod war beasts." Sergeant Min-ho stepped forward. "Sir, size is not everything. That wolf can run 60 kilometers per hour for hours without stopping. It can track a scent across hundreds of kilometers, and it never hunts alone." General Caxtar's compound eyes focused on the wolf. "Never alone?" "Wolves are pack hunters," Lieutenant Sora explained. "They work together like a military unit. One wolf might not be dangerous, but 30 wolves working together can bring down prey 50 times their size." The general moved to another container. This one held what looked like a large orange and black cat. "And this one?" "A tiger," Colonel Dong-ho said. "The perfect lone hunter. It can jump 10 meters in a single leap. Its claws can cut through steel, and it is completely silent when it hunts." General Caxtar made a clicking sound with his mandibles. "Interesting, but how will these animals fight in space? They cannot breathe vacuum." "They will not fight in vacuum," Lieutenant Sora replied. "They will fight inside enemy ships." The general stopped walking. "Inside ships?" "Yes, sir. We load them into special boarding pods. The pods break through enemy hulls and release our hunters into the ship corridors." "But surely the enemy will just shoot them?" Sergeant Min-ho smiled. "General, these animals have been avoiding death for millions of years. They know how to hide, how to move without being seen, how to attack from unexpected angles." They walked to a section with much smaller containers. General Caxtar looked confused. The containers seemed empty. "What is in these?" he asked. Lieutenant Sora activated a magnifying screen. "Army ants, 20 million of them per container." The screen showed thousands of tiny insects moving in perfect formation. 20 million? The general's voice rose in surprise. "Each ant can carry 50 times its own weight. They can eat through metal, plastic, even some ceramics. And they work as one mind. When we release them on a ship, they eat everything. Wiring, computers, life support systems, everything." General Caxtar backed away from the containers. "This is terrifying." "This is just the beginning," Colonel Dong-ho said. "Come, let me show you our aquatic division." They moved to another section filled with water-filled containers. Fish with sharp teeth swam in tight circles. In one large tank, a massive creature with a long snout and powerful jaws lay perfectly still. "Crocodiles," the colonel explained. "They can hold their breath for an hour. They can wait motionless for days for the perfect moment to attack, and when they bite, they never let go." "How do you get water creatures onto spaceships?" "We bring the water with us," Lieutenant Sora said. "Our biopods can create small pools anywhere. perfect for ambush attacks in ship corridors. They walked past container after container, venomous snakes that could kill with a single bite, giant spiders that could wait motionless for weeks, electric eels that could disable electronics with their natural electricity. "General," Colonel Dong Ho said, "every creature here represents millions of years of evolution. Every one of them is a perfect killer, designed by nature to hunt and survive." General Caxtar was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "Colonel, I came here thinking you humans were desperate and foolish. Now I am wondering if we should be afraid of you instead of the Vorthons." "The Vorthons should be afraid," Sergeant Minho said. "They have never faced anything like Earth's predators." Captain Shin Boram, commander of the Bio-Warfare Division, joined them. She was a small woman, but her eyes were hard and cold. "General Caxtar," she said, "I heard you wanted to see our weapons." "I have seen them, Captain. They are impressive. You have seen our basic units. Would you like to see our special weapons?" The general looked nervous but nodded. Captain Boram led them to a secured section of the ship. Here the containers were different. They had warning signs in multiple languages. "These are our venom specialists," she explained. "Snakes whose poison can kill in seconds, spiders whose bite causes madness before death, fish whose toxins have no known cure." She stopped at a container that seemed to contain only plants. "And these?" asked the general. "Venus flytraps and other carnivorous plants. They eat anything that moves. We can use them to clear rooms or guard areas. They are very patient hunters." General Caxtar looked overwhelmed. "How many of these creatures do you have?" "This ship carries 200 different species," Captain Boram replied. "We have 11 more ships just like this one, and 3 breeding ships to make more hunters during the journey." "Breeding ships?" "General," Colonel Dong Ho explained, "these creatures reproduce, some very quickly. Our ant colonies can double in size every few weeks. Our snake populations can grow rapidly in the right conditions." The general was silent for several minutes. When he spoke, his voice was quiet. "Colonel, on my world, we have war beasts, large, strong creatures with armor and weapons, but they are just animals trained to fight. What you have shown me, these are not trained animals. These are living weapons that think and hunt and adapt." "Exactly," Captain Boram said. "The Fortons train soldiers. They build weapons. They plan strategies. But they have never faced an enemy that evolves during the battle." "Evolves?" "Our predators learn, General. If one attack fails, they try another. If the enemy adapts to wolves, we send tigers. If they stop tigers, we send snakes. And if they stop snakes, we send army ants that can eat their entire ship." Lieutenant Sora added, "And the best part is that our predators work together with us. Humans have been hunting alongside wolves for thousands of years. We know how to coordinate with our animals." General Caxtar looked around the ship one more time. "When will you test these weapons?" "Soon," Colonel Dong Ho replied. "Long-range scouts report a Vorthon fleet heading toward the Kepler 438 system. That is the system the Federation gave us to defend." "How many Vorthon ships?" 50 capital ships, 300 smaller vessels, approximately 200,000 fourth-hand soldiers." The general's mandibles clicked nervously. "That is a large force. Are you certain your animals can handle such numbers?" Colonel Dong Ho smiled. It was the same cold smile Captain Hyun Woo had shown at the Federation Council. "General, on Earth, a pack of 20 wolves can hunt down and kill a herd of 1,000 buffalo. 50 army ant colonies can strip a forest bare in days. Nature does not fight fair. Nature fights to win." As they walked back to the loading bay, General Caxtar saw human soldiers working alongside their animals. A woman fed fish in the aquatic tanks. A man cleaned the wolf containers while the wolves watched him with trust in their eyes. "Your people are not afraid of these predators," the general observed. "Why would we be afraid?" Sergeant Minho asked. "We grew up with them. They are our partners, not our enemies." "Partners?" "General," Captain Boram explained, "humans did not just survive on Earth. We learned to work with the other predators. We made alliances with wolves. We domesticated, Cats. We learned from spiders and snakes and eagles. Every creature on our ship has taught humans something about hunting. General Caxtar looked at the humans working with their deadly animals. And what did humans teach the animals? Colonel Dong Ho looked out at the stars. We taught them that there is always a bigger hunt. We taught them that the real predators are not the strongest or the fastest. The real predators are the ones who can think, plan, and never give up. The Vorthons are about to learn this lesson, Captain Boram added. They think they are the top predators in the galaxy. They have never met the top predators from Earth. When humanity joined the war, they brought Earth's worst predators. Along Part 3, unleashing the Pack Admiral Bae Kyung-soo stood on the bridge of the human flagship Soul's Pride. Through the view screen, he could see the Vorthon fleet approaching. 50 massive ships shaped like black daggers cut through space. Behind them came hundreds of smaller vessels, all painted in the dark red colors of the Vorthon Empire. Enemy fleet contact in 30 minutes, reported Navigation Officer Kim Tae-ho. They're coming in fast and aggressive just like always. Admiral Bae nodded. The Vorthons always attack the same way. They used their superior numbers to overwhelm defenders quickly. It had worked for them for 20 years. Today would be different. Signal all ships, Admiral Bae ordered. Begin the retreat pattern. Make it look real. Commander Park Yoon-ji looked surprised. Sir, we are retreating already? Not retreating, the Admiral replied with a cold smile. Hunting. The human fleet began to fall back toward the inner system. To the Vorthons, it would look like another easy victory. The small human ships appeared to be running from the superior Vorthon force. On the Vorthon command ship Death's Glory, Fleet Commander Vorth Kal watched the humans retreat. Cowards, he growled to his bridge crew. These new aliens run just like all the others. Increase speed. We will destroy them before they can escape. The Vorthon fleet accelerated, hungry for another quick victory. They had no idea they were flying into a trap millions of years in the making. Major Park Hae-jin sat in the Biowarfare Command Center deep inside the Soul's Pride. Around him, dozens of screens showed the status of their living weapons. Wolves, paced in their launch pods. Tigers stretched and prepared to hunt. Army ants moved in perfect formation, ready for release. All biopods are ready, sir, reported Specialist Lee Sung-min. The predators are calm and focused. Major Hae-jin smiled. Calm and focused. That was how Earth's predators always were before a hunt. Open communication to all biowarfare ships, he ordered. This is Major Hae-jin. The pack is ready to hunt. Wait for my signal. Across the human fleet, similar scenes played out. Captain Shin Bo-ram prepared her venom specialists. Colonel Kim Dong-ho checked his wolf packs one final time. Lieutenant Yoon So-ra made sure the environmental systems were perfect for their aquatic hunters. Enemy ships entering optimal range, announced Kim Tae-ho from the bridge. Admiral Bae watched the Vorthon formation on his tactical display. They were spreading out to surround the human fleet. Perfect. All ships, execute hunter protocol, Admiral, Bae commanded. Suddenly, the retreating human ships spun around and accelerated toward the Vorthons. But instead of firing weapons, they began launching thousands of small pods. On the Vorthon command ship, Tactical Officer Gorth Ian looked confused. Sir, the humans are launching missiles, but they are moving too slow to be weapons. Fleet Commander. Forth Cal snarled. Probably escape pods, destroy them all. The Vorthon ships opened fire on the pods. Some exploded in bright flashes, but most were designed to look more fragile than they really were. They absorbed the hits and kept flying toward the Vorthon ships. Sir, Gorth Ian called out, the pods are not exploding, they are bouncing off our hull and attaching to the ship. What? Scan them. The scans show biological matter. Sir, these pods contain living creatures. Fleet Commander Vorth Kal felt the first touch of fear. Living creatures? What kind of creatures fight in space? He got his answer 30 seconds later. The biopods began cutting through Vorthon hull armor with powerful acids. Inside each pod, Earth's predators waited patiently. They had been trained for this moment. When the hull was breached, they would hunt. On the Vorthon destroyer Painbringer, the first breach occurred in the lower cargo bay. The pod cut through the metal like it was paper. Air rushed out for a moment, then the pod sealed the breach and opened its front door. 5 gray wolves stepped out into the corridor. The ship's security team rushed to the breach point. They expected to find human soldiers or robots. Instead, they found empty corridors and strange scratching sounds coming from the air vents. "Where are the invaders?" asked squad leader Herxall. His answer came from above. The first wolf dropped from an air vent and landed on a Vorthon soldier. Its teeth found the weak spot between the alien's armor plates. The soldier went down without a sound. The other Vorthons opened fire, but the wolves had already vanished back into the vents. The pack was hunting now, using the ship's own structure against its crew. On the Vorthon cruiser Blood Moon, a different kind of invasion was taking place. The biopod that breached their hull released not large predators, but 20 million army ants. The tiny insects poured through the corridors like a black flood. They ignored the Vorthon soldiers completely and went straight for the ship's electronics. Within minutes, they were eating through power cables, computer systems, and life support equipment. "Sir, we are losing power throughout the ship," reported the engineering officer. "What is causing the damage?" "Unknown, sir. Something is eating our systems from the inside." The Vorthon captain ordered repair teams to fix the damage. The teams found the corridors full of army ants. When they tried to kill the insects, they discovered that army ants work as one mind. Killing a few did nothing. The rest just found new ways to reach their targets. Major Park Hae-jin watched the battle from his command center. Each screen showed a different Vorthon ship falling to Earth's predators. "Tiger Team Alpha has secured the bridge of the enemy flagship," reported Specialist Sungmin. "The Tigers are holding position while the crew evacuates. Wolfpack Delta has disabled the engines on the heavy cruiser Dark Victory," called another operator. "The pack is now moving to secure the weapon systems." Army Ant Colony 7 has completely destroyed the electronics on 3 destroyers. The ships are dead in space. Major Hae-jin felt a deep satisfaction. This was what Earth's predators did best. They adapted, they hunted, and they won. On the Vorthon command ship, Fleet Commander Vorth Kal was beginning to understand the true horror of what was happening to his fleet. "Sir, we have lost contact with 18 ships," Gorthian reported. "The ships are still there, but they are not responding to communications." "What happened to their crews?" "Unknown, sir. Some ships show life signs, but the crew is not at their stations. Other ships appear to be completely abandoned." Admiral Bay watched the Vorthon fleet fall apart on his tactical display. Half their ships were already disabled. The others were trying to retreat, but it was too late. The hunt had begun. "Signal the cleanup crews," he ordered. "Begin boarding operations." Commander Yu Jung-min led the first human boarding party onto the Vorthon destroyer Painbringer. Her team moved carefully through the corridors, following the wolf pack that had cleared the way. The ship was eerily quiet. They found Vorthon crew members hiding in locked rooms, too terrified to come out. The wolves had not killed everyone. They had simply made it clear who was now in control of the ship. "This is incredible," whispered Marine Sergeant O.J. Sung. The entire crew surrendered to 5 wolves. Commander Yu smiled. "Wolves do not just kill their prey, Sergeant. They dominate it. They make it submit." On another ship, Lieutenant Colonel An Min-seok found a different scene. The army ants had stripped the vessel down to its basic framework. Every piece of electronics, every wire, every computer chip had been consumed. The ship was still spaceworthy, but it was completely helpless. "How did tiny insects do all this?" asked his second-in-command. "Army ants can organize better than most military units," the lieutenant colonel replied. "They work with perfect coordination and never give up. Once they target something, they will eat it completely." The battle lasted only 4 hours. By the end, 47 Vorthon ships had been captured or disabled. Only 3 ships managed to escape, and they were damaged and running low on power. Fleet Commander Vorth Kal was among the survivors. His ship had been lucky. The biopod that hit them had contained snakes instead of wolves or ants. The snakes were deadly, but his crew had managed to contain them in one section of the ship. As his damaged vessel limped back toward Vorthon's space, he sent an emergency message to the Empire. "High Command," he reported, "we have encountered a new threat. The humans do not fight with normal weapons. They fight with living creatures that think and hunt and adapt. Our standard tactics are useless against them." He paused, remembering the wolves that had taken over an entire destroyer. "Sir, these creatures are not just animals. They are soldiers who have been fighting for millions of years. And the humans control them like they are partners, not pets." "What are your recommendations?" came the reply from Vorthon High Command. He Vorthons who? The news of the Kepler 438 victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire. In Federation space, crowds gathered around communication centers to hear the impossible story. The humans had not just won against the Vorthons, they had captured an entire fleet using animals. On the Federation capital world, Admiral Taemin stood before the council with a smile he had not worn in years. "Council members," he announced, "I am pleased to report that the human experiment was a complete success. They captured 47 Vorthon ships with 0 casualties." Council leader Vex Prime could barely believe it. 0 casualties? Against a full Vorthon battle fleet? The humans used biological weapons that the Vorthons had no defense against. Living creatures that think and hunt and work together. But, far away in Vorthon space, the reaction was very different. High Admiral Gorthul of the Vorthon Empire slammed his 4 fists on the war table. Around him, his top commanders sat in shocked silence. "Explain to me," he roared, "how a species we had never heard of 3 months ago just destroyed our 7th battle fleet." Fleet Commander Vorth Kal, his uniform torn and his pride broken, stood before the council. "Sir, the humans do not fight like other species. They use living weapons, creatures from their home world that have been fighting for millions of years." "Living weapons? You mean trained animals?" "No, sir. These are not trained animals. These are predators that think for themselves. They adapt during battle. When we tried to stop them one way, they found another way to attack." General Thakmar, leader of Vorthon ground forces, clicked his claws impatiently. "How dangerous can small animals be? We have conquered hundreds of worlds with dangerous life forms." Vorth Kal's eyes grew distant as he remembered the battle. "General, have you ever seen a pack of wolves hunt? They do not just attack. They plan, they coordinate, they learn their enemy's weaknesses, and then they strike with perfect timing. And the humans control these wolves?" "Control is the wrong word, sir. The humans partner with them. They work together like they have been fighting side by side for thousands of years." High Admiral Gorthul studied the battle reports. "What other creatures do they use? Army ants that can eat through ship systems in minutes. Venomous snakes that can kill with a single bite. Crocodiles that wait motionless for the perfect moment to attack. And those are just the ones we saw." The room fell silent as the Vorthon leaders realized the true scope of the threat. Meanwhile, in human space, Dr. Lim Chan Wu was giving a very different briefing to Federation scientists. "Fellow researchers," he began, "what you have witnessed is the result of 3.8 billion years of evolution on a planet where survival requires constant adaptation." The audience of alien scientists leaned forward, eager to understand how such small creatures could defeat the mighty Vorthons. "On most worlds," Dr. Lim continued, "predators and prey evolve slowly. Each species changes over millions of years. But on Earth, the pressure to survive was so intense that evolution happened faster and more completely." He activated a holographic display showing Earth's evolutionary tree. "Every creature we brought to this war has survived countless extinction events. Ice ages, asteroid impacts, volcanic eruptions, climate changes. Only the most adaptable survived." Dr. Yelkan of the Altarian Science Council raised a furry hand. "But how do such small creatures defeat armored Vorthon soldiers?" "Size is not important when you have intelligence and patience," Dr. Lim replied. "A wolf does not need to be bigger than its prey. It needs to be smarter, faster, and better at working with its pack." "And army ants?" "Army ants represent the ultimate in collective intelligence. 20 million individuals working as one mind. They can solve problems that would challenge a supercomputer." The alien scientists began to understand. Earth's predators were not just animals. They were the survivors of the most competitive environment in known space. Back on Earth, the next phase of the operation was already beginning. Captain Han Mi-jung stood on the deck of the assault ship, Busan Warrior, watching as new biopods were loaded for the upcoming mission. Status report. She called to her operations officer. Captain, we have loaded aquatic specialists for the water world assault. 200 crocodiles, 500 electric eels, and 1,000 piranha schools. The target was Aquatica Prime, a Vorthan colony world covered mostly by oceans. The Vorthans had built floating cities connected by underwater tunnels. They thought the water would protect them. They were about to learn that Earth had produced the galaxy's most dangerous aquatic predators. Engineer Lieutenant Ko Jae-sung was putting the finishing touches on his latest invention, environmental pods that could create Earth-like conditions anywhere. These new pods are amazing, he explained to Captain Mi-jung. They can turn any environment into a hunting ground for our predators. Desert, jungle, ocean, even space stations. How do they work? Each pod carries everything needed to create a small Earth ecosystem. Water, plants, proper atmosphere, even the right bacteria. Our predators can live and hunt in these environments for weeks. The assault on Aquatica Prime began 3 days. Later, Vorthon defenders watched in confusion as human ships approached their water world. They expected another animal attack, but they had prepared for it. They had sealed all their ships and stations. They had armed their soldiers with weapons designed to kill small creatures. They had no idea that humans had brought the ocean's apex predators to their water world. The first biopod splashed into the ocean near the main Vorthan city. Inside, each pod, Earth's aquatic hunters stirred to life. Crocodiles that had been sleeping during the space journey opened their ancient eyes. Electric eels tested their biological batteries. Schools of piranha sensed fresh water and began to hunt. Vorthan. Patrol submarines detected the pods and moved to investigate. The submarines were heavily armored and well armed. Their crews felt confident as they approached the strange objects floating in their ocean. The first submarine crew never knew what hit them. A massive saltwater crocodile, enhanced for space travel, but still following millions of years of hunting. Instinct struck the submarine's viewing port with perfect timing. The thick glass cracked under the prehistoric power of its jaws. As water rushed into the submarine, electric eels followed. Their electrical discharge disabled the ship's systems. Instantly, the crew had no choice but to abandon ship. But the ocean was no longer safe for Vorthans. Piranha schools, working with the coordination their species had perfected in Earth's rivers, surrounded the escape pods. Within minutes, the Vorthan survivors were calling for rescue. Captain Mi-jung watched the battle from her command ship. Report from Aquatic Team Alpha. The crocodiles have disabled 3 Vorthan submarines and captured 2 floating platforms. The electric eels have knocked out power to the main city's underwater sections. And the piranha schools? They have cleared the shipping lanes of all Vorthan vessels. The enemy is refusing to enter the water. On the Vorthan command platform, Admiral Herc Noon stared at his tactical display in disbelief. The humans have turned our own ocean against us? Sir, reported his aide, our submarines cannot operate effectively. The creatures attack with perfect coordination, and they seem to know exactly where our weak points are. How is that possible? Dr. Lim Chan-woo, monitoring the battle from the human fleet, smiled as he recorded the results. The Vorthon still did not understand what they were facing. These predators have been fighting in Earth's oceans for hundreds of millions of years, he explained to Captain Mi-jung. They know how to hunt in water better than any submarine crew. The battle for Aquatica Prime lasted only 6 hours. By the end, the Vorthons had abandoned their ocean cities and retreated to small island bases. The ocean belonged to Earth's predators now. News of the aquatic victory reached Vorthan High Command within hours. High Admiral Gorthul realized that the humans had counters for every environment the Vorthans could think of. They have land predators, space predators, and now water predators, he told his staff. What environment is safe from these creatures? The answer came sooner than he expected. On the volcanic world of Piro 7, Vorthon miners thought they were safe. The planet's surface was covered in lava flows and poisonous gases. No normal life could survive there, but engineer Ko Jae-sung had designed special environmental pods for extreme conditions. Inside these pods, he had placed creatures from Earth's most dangerous environments: bacteria that thrived in boiling water, insects that could survive in toxic chemicals, and plants that could grow in the harshest conditions. The attack on Pyrrho 7 showed the galaxy that Earth's life was not just adaptable, it was unstoppable. Creatures that had evolved in Earth's volcanic vents and poisonous swamps made themselves at home on the alien hell world. As word of these victories spread, something changed in the galactic war. Species that had been fighting the Vorthons for decades suddenly had hope again. The Federation began to see that the tide of the war was turning. But in the depths of space, more human ships were arriving. Ships carrying predators from every environment on Earth, and leading them all were the humans themselves, the species that had not just survived on a death world, but had learned to work with every other survivor. 6 months after the first human victory, the largest fleet in galactic history gathered at the edge of Vorthon space. Admiral Bae Kyung-soo stood on the bridge of the massive command ship Earth's Fury, watching as ship after ship jumped into formation. "Fleet status report," he ordered. Commander Park Yoon-ji read from her datapad. "Sir, we have 200 human biowarfare ships, 500 Federation vessels, and 300 allied ships from 12 different species. Total crew, 2 million beings. And our biological assets? 1 million predators from 300 Earth species, sir. Every environment, every hunting style, every type of predator our world ever produced." Admiral Bae nodded. Today, they would attack Vorth Prime, the Vorthon homeworld. If they won, the war would be over. If they lost, the galaxy would fall to the Vorthon Empire forever. But the Vorthons had not been idle during the past 6 months. High Admiral Gorthul had used every day to prepare for this final battle. "Status of our defenses?" he asked his staff on Vorth Prime. "Sir, we have 1,000 ships in orbit. Every soldier on the planet is armed with anti-animal weapons. We have sealed all our buildings and created kill zones filled with poison gas." "And the new weapons?" "Ready, sir. Sonic weapons designed to panic Earth animals. Chemical weapons that target their nervous systems. And robotic hunters programmed to kill any creature smaller than a Vorthon." General Thakmar stepped forward. "Sir, we have studied every human attack for 6 months. We know how their animals think and hunt. This time we are ready." High Admiral Gorthul looked out at his vast fleet. "Good. Today we show the galaxy that the Vorthon Empire cannot be defeated by mere animals." The battle began at dawn, Vorth Prime time. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace and immediately came under heavy fire from Vorthon orbital defenses. "Enemy has activated new countermeasures," reported Major Park Hae-jin from the Biowarfare Command Center. "They are using sonic weapons to confuse our predators." Admiral Bae watched as several biopods veered off course, their animal passengers disoriented by the high-frequency sounds. "Expected," he replied calmly. "Execute Plan Omega." Across the human fleet, a new type of biopod launched. These pods were larger and carried Earth's most intelligent predators, creatures that could think through problems and adapt to new threats. General Lee Soo-jin led the first assault wave, but she was not alone. Beside her command pod flew pods, containing wolves, tigers, dolphins, and ravens. These were not just Earth's deadliest predators. They were Earth's smartest. "Alpha Team, this is General Lee. Remember, we work together, humans and animals, partners in the hunt." The wolf pack leader, a massive gray male the humans called Storm, seemed to understand. He had been fighting alongside humans for 3 years. Now, he knew their scents, their voices, their plans. The tiger matriarch, Saber, stretched in her pod. She had learned to hunt in space stations and alien ships. No prey had ever escaped her. The first wave of biopods hit the Vorthon fleet's outer defenses. Immediately the sonic weapons activated. Many animals became confused and disoriented, but the wolves did something the Vorthons had not expected. They covered their ears with their paws and kept hunting. Pack animals on Earth had dealt with loud noises for millions of years. Thunderstorms, Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. Sonic weapons were just another noise to ignore. Storm led his pack through the corridors of a Vorthon destroyer. The ship's crew had prepared for the usual wolf tactics. They had sealed the air vents and set up ambush points, but Storm had learned from previous battles. Instead of splitting up, he kept his pack together. Instead of using the air vents, they cut through the ship's walls with explosive charges provided by their human partners. Impossible, breathed the Vorthon captain as he watched wolves use human technology. The animals are using tools. On another ship, Saber faced a different challenge. The Vorthons had released poison gas into the corridors. Most Earth animals would have died quickly, but tigers from Earth had dealt with poison before, from snakes, spiders, and toxic plants. Saber held her breath and moved through the gas clouds, using her incredible sense of smell to track the Vorthons, even through their protective suits. Captain Nam Subin coordinated the assault from her command pod. Around her, screens showed the progress of every Predator team. Wolfpack Alpha has secured the engine room of the heavy cruiser Dark Conquest, she reported. Tiger Team Beta has eliminated the command crew of the battleship Payne's Edge. What about the robotic hunters? Asked Admiral Bay. The Ravens are handling them, sir. The Vorthons had been proud of their robotic hunters, fast machines programmed to kill any small moving target. But they had not counted on Earth's most intelligent flying predators. Ravens on Earth had learned to solve complex puzzles, use tools, and work together in groups. The robotic hunters were just another puzzle to solve. A flock of ravens led by a bird called Shadow swooped through a Vorthon ship. When they encountered robotic hunters, they did not fight them directly. Instead, they led the robots into traps, electrical panels, crushing mechanisms, areas where the robots would destroy themselves. Sir, called the Vorthon tactical officer, our robotic hunters are malfunctioning. They are destroying themselves. How? Is that possible? The birds, they seem to be leading our robots into dangerous areas on purpose. Major Park Hae-jin smiled as he watched the battle unfold. The Vorthons still do not understand, he told his staff. They think intelligence and predation are separate things. On Earth, the smartest predators are always the most dangerous. But the real surprise was yet to come. As the battle raged in space, General Lee Soo-jin led a landing force to the surface of Vorth Prime. The Vorthons had turned their cities into fortresses, with kill zones and poison gas chambers designed to stop Earth's animals. The first human-animal teams hit the planetary defenses and seemed to be stopped. The Vorthon defenders cheered as Earth's predators appeared to retreat from the poison gas and sonic weapons. Then Captain Han Mi-jung activated the final phase of the human plan. All teams released the apex predators. From special pods hidden among the main assault force came creatures the Vorthons had never seen before. But these were not new species from Earth. These were humans working with their animal partners in perfect coordination. Storm the Wolf and Sergeant Kim Tae-wan moved through a Vorthon fortress like they shared one mind. The wolf's senses guided the human to hidden enemies. The human's weapons and tools cleared paths for the wolf. Together they were unstoppable. Saber the tiger and Lieutenant Park So-young hunted through the city streets with deadly efficiency. The tiger's strength and speed combined with the human's intelligence and technology. No Vorthon defense could stop them. Shadow the Raven and Captain Yoon Min-jae coordinated aerial attacks with precision that amazed even other humans. The Raven's flight patterns guided human aircraft to targets invisible from the ground. "This is impossible," High Admiral Gorthul shouted as reports came in from across his homeworld. "Animals and aliens working together like they are one creature." Dr. Lim Chan-woo, now aboard the human flagship, watched the final battle with deep satisfaction. "Admiral," he said to Bai Kyung-soo, "the Vorthons are finally seeing what makes humans the apex predators of Earth, which is, we did not just survive alongside Earth's predators. We learned to become their partners. We combined human intelligence with animal instincts. We became something greater than either species alone." The battle for Vorth Prime lasted 18 hours. When it ended, the Vorthon Empire's capital was in human hands. High Admiral Gorthul stood in his ruined command center. surrounded by wolves, tigers, ravens, and humans who moved together like a single hunting pack. "I surrender," he said quietly. "The Vorthon Empire surrenders to—" "What do we surrender to? You are not just humans. You are not just animals. What are you?" General Li Sujin stepped forward, Storm the wolf at her side. "We are Earth's children, all of us. We are the survivors of 4 billion years of evolution. We are predators who learned that the strongest pack is one that includes every type of hunter." Admiral Bay received the formal surrender of the Vorthon Empire 3 days later. But the real victory had already been won. The galaxy had seen something new. A species that did not just use weapons or train animals, but formed true partnerships with other predators. 1 year later, Captain Nam Subin stood on the observation deck of a Federation space station, watching Earthships training alien crews in biowarfare techniques. "Strange to think how it all started," she said to Dr. Lim Chan-Wu. "Is it?" the doctor replied. "Humans have always been pack hunters. We just expanded our pack to include the entire galaxy." Through the observation window, they watched human children playing with young wolves, tigers, and ravens. The next generation was already learning to hunt together. "What do you think will happen when we explore beyond Federation space?" Captain Nam asked. Dr. Lim smiled. "Whatever we find out there, it will face something it has never seen before. Earth's children, carrying the legacy of a world where cooperation and predation created the ultimate hunters."